Hello, welcome to VO Journey Academy Live. We're going to be talking about rethinking social media, rethinking packaging. I said package.
Yeah,
I
package.
did it. It is what it is. Deal with it. My name is Anthony.
I'm Gabby.
And we're voice actors, crazy
Ooh.
voice actors. And stick around because we're going to, I think this is going to be a fantastic episode. Because we're going to really be talking about something that affects every single one of us now more than ever, and that is how we are sharing communication across the board. People are not hearing us.
Yeah.
They're not seeing. We're marketing ourselves. We're not being seen, and it's not the content that's the problem. It's not the information.
The pretty bow it comes with.
It is now more than ever. And if you stop and think about that, especially even yourself, you're gonna see what we're talking about. So, Gabby, it's good to see you.
It's good to see you.
Yes, and right now, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Right,
Please.
right.
Please.
Share this with someone. Hit the heart real quick. Share the heart and be yay. Did you know, Gabby, that in a video when you're watching, in the first 30 seconds of that video, right, you typically have, especially on YouTube, the majority of all of the action happens in that 30 seconds from a watcher standpoint in stats. So basically what I mean by that is in that first 30 seconds, all right, basically you get that much time. I mean, we'd argue you get even less time.
Yeah.
5 seconds.
Sure.
But what happens is after that, typically there are massive fall offs in attention. People come by, they see what you're doing. And if you can't grab their attention and hold their attention within that 30 seconds or under, then you lose like more than 75-80% of possible viewership on your videos.
Yeesh.
Yes, that's pretty crazy. So there's
super crazy.
Right. And I think and I would say now, of course, this is YouTube. We've got YouTube has a very robust at this point, stats that they show us. But in general, we could apply this to all social media in general.
Pretty much.
And I think nowadays, would you agree that as voice actors, business owners, if we are not communicating our services, who we are, our brand, or something through social media, we are behind the eight ball? What do you think?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, at this point, if you're not creating content as a business, I don't care what you do, you're in trouble.
Yes.
Yeah,
it is a vital part of our businesses. And I know for me, and I know you, both of us, we've created thousands and thousands of videos between us, from not only just regular videos, but shorts to lives to blog. I mean,
oh my God,
to also across
it's crazy,
all platforms, right?
Crazy. Yeah.
And I'll go and look at some of the stuff I put up, and I'm like, it's after all these years, we can still learn a lot. I can still learn a lot. And one of the things I'm learning more and more now than ever, right, was I saw a study that said back in the when was it? And it could have been even, maybe it was 20 years ago or 25 years ago. But even then, it said the average time that someone watched a clip before they turned, or they felt like they needed to see another clip, was 10 seconds. And that's now gone down to 2.5 seconds, right?
Wow.
And it's basically the Hollywood formula, right? Like we've all the Hollywood formula. Like a lot of it is based on heart rhythms. A lot of it is based on beats, right? So if you're not,
just like music, yeah.
Right. So if you're not changing these beats, right, within your visual, captions. I mean, think about what we do here. I mean, it's an interesting thing. This is, we have a lot of, I think, wonderful information. But, this is kind of like a show that we've designed that's really more like a podcast.
Yeah.
As we're talking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's not necessarily, we're not visually going, there's not things.
No, this isn't a Ken Burns format. No.
Right. Exactly. Which is wonderful, which is fine. But, we're going to realize that, we have a very limited audience, which is fine. We love that. But us as voice actors and getting out there, it's just interesting to learn more about this. Like, for example, click-through rates. So this is an interesting thing too. So let's say you put up something and you're like, I want to put up that I did this really cool audio book and I want to share it because I think if I share it, people will get to see it. Maybe people will buy it. Also, maybe someone will see that I did a good job and want to work with me. Like
Sure.
all these things, right? Well, you put it out there and then like it's like no one saw it. Your mom watched it or something, or your mom looked at, or
Crickets.
yeah, right. There's no
Right.
views, no one saw it, like no one even, and you're like, what? Like this is useless. Like this doesn't work. And you start to think, well, why doesn't more people see my stuff? I posted it. I don't understand. I mean, I see all these other people. So there's this first part of the thing is so like click-through rate. And yes, of course, on YouTube, the click-through rate is an when you get an impression,
Mm-hmm.
does someone click through to your video? Do they click
Mm-hmm.
on your video to it? Now, an impression is just any time, I believe, on YouTube where a video is shown on a feed, on your For You page, anywhere like that, for longer than, it's like, I don't know if it's a second or two. It's something where it had to, like, if they're scrolling really fast and it's not their return time, it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't count. But that's what an impression is. An impression is impression does not mean they watch something.
Right.
It just means it's shown up somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So then a click-through rate is how often is it shown to how often it's clicked through. So if you have 1,000 impressions,
Mm-hmm.
right, and they click through 100 times, that's 10%,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you have a 10% click-through rate. On YouTube, the average is between 2 to 10%.
Mm-hmm.
It's a wide average, right? But 2% being the very low end and 10% being the higher end. But that's the average.
Well, and it's just like old advertising statistics for like direct mail and, more classic forms of advertising that, they have a
Yeah.
1% return. It's kind of the similar thing. There's a
Mhm.
1% return, which seems really devastating, but it's not because it still works. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing it, and we also wouldn't be
Yes.
still getting mailers,
No,
'cause
absolutely.
yeah.
And on top of that, I'm always like fascinated by like, hey, how is the algorithm work? Why do I have, 3,000-4,000
Oh,
subscribers
the
or
algorithm
20,000
gods.
subscribers and
Uh,
only, 50 people
right.
have seen this video? What is going on? Well,
Yeah.
first off, I have to accept the fact that either the content I'm making is not good, or the format, the packaging, as we were saying, the um uh keeping attention, I'm not doing
Mhm.
a good job at.
So, hang on, let's stop there for 1 second because I
You can
I
tell I've been thinking a
think
lot about this
you
over the
have, you have, but
last
I think
week.
I think the packaging conversation is so important. Most of us, I feel like, and I know this is so weird to say, right? I feel like most people in our age group, we think of packaging as something that is a barrier
Right.
between us and the product, right? The thing that we bought. Packaging is, for a lot of people, yeah, just a barrier. It's a protection. It's a way to get right. We don't care. We think about packaging as just a disposable element. However, there are scores of videos, unboxing videos, right? Influencers. I cannot express to people how much attention is put on packaging.
Mm.
People actually, younger gener they give a damn. They will literally talk about the packaging and how pretty it is or how beautiful or how thoughtful or how fun, and I'm like, "Who cares?" It's a box, right? Like, it's the bo like, if it's a cosmetic, it's the box it came in, but no, people are obsessed with it. The packaging has to be on point. And if it's not, it's a major ding. It's like a big, and we see this a lot. Like, you can go to the grocery store and you can test this with just about any product, right? Pick an aisle and look at packaging alone and see what draws the eye and see what you gravitate towards, because that's how a lot of people shop.
They really do.
And so we have to think about that. And I'm always trying to impress that upon, oh boy,
Ooh, see, we could do some.
my
Oh, is this
eh,
cheap? You're like, stop that.
I'm I'm always trying to impress upon voice actors how important packaging is because it's almost an obsession for people now, and packaging is become such. I was reading an article just yesterday about Taylor Swift, and, don't hold it against me. Uh, the article's
Thank you.
purpose, they were talking about how she is the queen of variance, okay? Meaning that she puts out different, but I had to read through this and kind of decode it. So her album, Life of a Showgirl,
Mhm,
has 12 different covers,
mm,
12 different packages,
mhm.
12 different types of art. The music is the same. The product, the thing you're
Goodness, be
actually
careful.
buying, the
Okay.
music, right? But the product, the thing you're actually buying is the same. But people are
Well, right, because it's
buying,
the same song.
yes,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but people are buying this to collect the
Did Did you
packaging.
hear about that guy? So basically, there's this guy, and he went on to eBay,
Mm,
and did you hear about this? He went on to eBay
mm-mm.
and he bought 200 items off of eBay for $1 or less, right? So each one was $1 or less,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
And he had this thought because he heard that stories, like having a story package, way you're packaging something can, like that runs the world, right? Like the best stories, like we live and die by good stories, right?
Yeah,
And that's how it runs the world. If you can tell a good story, you're it. So
okay.
basically he buys these 200 items, and then he calls up or he messages or emails 200 authors and asks them, he gives each one of them one product and asks them would they write a story about each one of these products.
Oh, how
So
interesting.
he gets 200 stories for so he gets one for each one of these products, each one of these 200
Mhm.
items,
Mhm.
and he basically took these items and he sold them all, and there was like crazy stories. Like there was this little donkey head that he bought for like 99 cents and sold it for like $62.50 when the story was added, and he ended up like spending a couple $100, and I think he made like over $6,000, and it was all
Wow.
because of the
The story.
story that was added to these things, the
Mhm,
packaging,
mhm.
right? The package that
Well,
they come in, it's wild.
it's something that toy manufacturers have known for a long time, and I see a lot of people in the comments talking about, collector's items, things like that. That's been a thing forever. I mean, how many toys have a story that goes with them, right? They have a tag that tells you something about it, or yes, it's a collector's edition box because it tells the story. All of these things are significantly influencing shopping decisions. But this is a challenge for us, right? How
Mhm.
do voice actors capitalize on this, incorporate things like this? It's interesting.
It is. It is really interesting. And so, you begin to like I begin to look at these things, and I'm just looking at a standpoint of, how do we put out things? I think someone over here talked about they had different demos. Right?
Mhm.
So, like, what was it? Somebody just said something, you're still it's why oh, yeah. B Doggy says, "I guess that's why you have multiple specified demos. You're still selling your voice, but in different packaging." That's
Mhm.
absolutely correct, right? Because the
Mhm.
reality is if you think about it, we all should just be able to hear a voice style or hear a sound of a voice, like, "I like the sound of that voice. Here's
Right.
what I want you to do." But that's not how we do it, right?
It's
We
not.
have to package it in a manner to where the person who is considering it can be like, oh well, I like that how they do this because this is kind of how I'm like feeling it, or this is what
Mhm.
I want, or
Mhm.
but to go a step further, I think we live in the time more now than ever where we have to get eyeballs, we have to get clicks. I always used to say, and I haven't said in a while, but it's true, on platforms especially, but even on the internet, we're voice actors. So our whole goal, hopefully, right, is we're trying to get people to listen to, just to hear our demo. We
Mhm.
want people to listen to it. But interestingly enough, right, before that even happens, a person has to search somewhere and you have to be found. Right? So right
Mhm.
off the bat, that's the first thing that we've got to figure out how to do. Then once you are found, you have to be appealing enough. The packaging has to be good enough for them to click on
Mhm.
you. That click through
Mhm.
rate. Once they click on you, then you've got 1 to 2 seconds to hook them enough with your audio, with your demo, with whatever your video, whatever you're showing them to
Yeah.
keep them engaged long enough. I mean, it is, if you think about it, it does seem pretty daunting
It's
a little bit,
hard.
right?
It's hard.
At the same time, though, what is cool is what you just said too. There are so many videos, so many things out there of people who are really good at this. And part of this is all about storytelling. How are we telling a story?
Mhm.
How are we getting our message across? And I think a lot of times I don't even know. Would you say it's an interesting idea? And I'd be wondering all the people who are here watching us right now, like when we talk about this, where are we even attempting to do this? Like even an email, like you send an email, it's interesting. Do we send an email just statement emails? Do you send an
Mhm.
email telling a story? Like, is there anything that captures someone's attention in an email?
Right.
I mean, it really begins to make you think about your whole process of everything you do,
It
right?
does. It does,
Yeah.
absolutely. Some of my favorite voiceover brand marketing tells a story and does a really great job of helping the reader connect and to connect with the voice potentially before even hearing it. I
Do you
think
wanna
that's
do you wanna know
important.
something really funny? I don't know if anybody here has done it, but if you go
Mhm.
to a VO's journey, and I'm not telling people to go, but you could. You guys, anybody, okay, go to a VO's journey, go to one of the products, go to like checkout. Don't buy it. That you'll be like, oh my god, what are you saying, Anthony? Don't buy it.
Don't
But
buy it.
you
Don't
put in
spend
your,
money.
but don't buy it. And what happens? You'll get an email from me, and this is the one of the most. It's an email. It's an automated email that I wrote. But this is one of the most replied to email that I have ever sent over
Hmm.
years. So basically in the email, I say, because it's like a checkout,
Abandoned cart.
right, abandoned
Yeah.
cart reply. So basically what it says is that, you know what I mean? I was sitting on my couch and I was popping open a bottle of champagne and and having a hot pocket and so excited that you were purchasing this product. But then I found out that you weren't. And then then the cork hit my poor cat, and he went flying off of the side of the thing. I mean, he's gonna be okay, but he's really distraught. And my hot pocket burned my mouth, and it's just miserable because I found out you didn't buy the product. And can I tell you this story? So then I close it. So please, for the sake of your future and the sake of my cat, come on back and check it out. And I'm telling you,
How
I get
funny.
so many replies from people just sending back saying this is the funniest thing I have ever heard, and
What?
I love it. And it just because and you didn't think about. I don't know how I came up. I just came
I
up
was
with this
yeah, I
idea,
was like, "Where did that come
and
from?"
it just makes it so much fun, right? Like you're like, what is that? But like a cart abandonment email that people read and send me replies back.
Yeah.
It's all about a story because it's a silly, fun comedy story, but it's a story, and you read and you're like, "What is this? Is hilarious. What is this?"
Yeah.
Because it's unexpected. Because I think most of us just assume that if I just say go do this, or I say, "Hey, why didn't you do that?" Like that's gonna be like any of us are gonna respond to that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's funny you say that. I have a little thing on part of my website that talks about addressing beginners, right, and their want to do things so quickly. And I made a little quip and I said, you have to stop being a hyper hamster. And I attached it to a meme, right, of a hamster.
Right?
And same thing.
Hyper hamster.
It gets so much engagement. People
Right.
literally just go, "I know I'm a hyper hamster, Gabby,
I
but," and
love
I'm
it.
like, "That's
The
so
hyper hamster.
the hyper hamsters."
That's got to
It's
be a
just
bumper sticker. A hyper
right?
hamster. I'm a hyper hamster.
It's also kind of a redundant statement. I mean,
Exactly,
but
exactly.
anyway.
Oh, that's so
Um,
funny. Phil said, "I've gotten those emails, but I feel guilty if I don't purchase." I don't want you to feel guilty, but I mean, but you remember them, right? Like
yeah,
that sticks with you. That story sticks with you. And I mean, that was written by me years and years ago, but I still
so
get
funny.
responses of at least people
Do
saying
you
this
even
was the
have a
funniest thing.
cat?
What?
Do
Of
you even
course I
have a
do. It's
cat? Okay.
Captain.
I
So
don't
it ca
know.
okay,
I always see the
so
doggos.
it came from if anybody watches videos like when I was in my other house, Captain used to come up and sit on my shoulder while I was doing videos. And so people knew Captain, you know what I mean?
Oh.
And so that's kind of like, people like, "Oh, it's Captain,"
Gotta
and
keep
it
it
was like
done.
Captain's chair. And so it was just kind of a funny thing that we did. So that's
Oh.
kind of how part of it came about. But it just stayed and so but the storytelling aspect of what we do is funny because that's kind of our job is to tell stories in general.
Yeah.
And remember, not all whether you do commercial work or anything, it's still a
Yeah.
story we're telling.
Absolutely.
You
Yeah,
know? So, but I think we forget that that story is just as more important to tell as marketers and advertisers, right, and salespeople as it is while we're acting.
for sure.
So yeah, so that's anyways. I know we're over time. I really appreciate. But I'm really intrigued by it because we also put a lot of stuff, and sometimes it's like, man, we do all these things, and there's only a couple people who see it.
But you know what? But if we just focus on that
Mhm.
concept of packaging, right? We're near the holidays, right? With end of the year gift giving. It's the same thing, right? Like nobody goes, "Ooh, ah," when they get a present in a brown paper bag that looks like, like
Right,
that's
right,
not,
right.
what do? We invest in those little extras to make it really pretty and really appealing.
Hmm.
Kind of the same thing,
Yep.
you know. You
Hey,
know,
thank you guys so much for watching today. We really appreciate it. As always,
yeah.
hit the like and subscribe button, and don't forget go and check out the. I mean, if you want to purchase, a membership and part of VOJ, please do. But you might like the email; it's funny. Um, I'm telling you, it's a hoot. I laugh. I think it's hilarious. Still, I wrote it, so I think it's funny as heck. Um, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. Happy Thursday.
Thanks,
We'll see you all
guys.
tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye. Goodbye.